Why, hello there, everyone. How's it going, everybody? I don't know what that was. That was like almost like a British introduction or something. I'm like, why, hello there. How are you all doing, lovely folks? But nevertheless, welcome back to a brand new Spider-Man Ps4 video. And for better or for worse, in my case, I think it's for better, but I know that there's going to be people that are going to be flustered with this. It is another suit update video because, of course, we have received 2 new suits that have been added to the game. So now the grand total of suits in the Spider-Man Ps4 game is 40. I think that this is going to be the last update that I will make for this particular title as far as suits are concerned. Now again, I could be wrong because I thought that would be the case when I made the previous update with the 38 suit count. Now, to be fair, at that point in time, it did seem kind of odd for them to stop at 38 suits because it was kind of like, well, why wouldn't you just make it a nice whole round number, which I guess is probably some sort of a weird human way of us trying to rationalize things because it's just a weird thing to just be at like 38. Why didn't they stop at 35 or 40, you know? So it was a little bit odd, and now it all makes sense because, of course, since that previous update, we have received 2 additional suits, which we will discuss here today, both of which, by the way, are from the Fantastic Four universe, or Fantastic Four inspired, let's put it that way. So, with that being said, ladies and gents, let's go on ahead and take a look at all of the suits that are in Spider-Man Ps4, and let's get started. So we're going to go on ahead and this time around work our way backwards. So we'll start with the more epic suits and work our way all the way up to the advanced suits. So first and foremost, the newest of the suits is this one right here, which is the Future Foundation suit. If you don't know where this suit came from, it was essentially the suit that Spider-Man put on when he joined the Future Foundation, which was an organization that was put together when Johnny Storm had passed away in the comic books. If you don't know who Johnny Storm is, he's the Human Torch. When he passed away, it was then the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, and Invisible Woman who put together a new group called the Future Foundation. And Parker, or Spider-Man, filled in the role of the 4th member of the Future Foundation. So that is what this suit is based on. I really, really love the design for this suit. I think it is fantastic. From there, ladies and gents, let's go on ahead and transition onwards and forwards to the next one, which was one of the suits that I had hoped we would get in this game, and luckily now we can say we have. This is the Bombastic Bag Man Suit, which was a very, very cool comic book storyline. I think it was only like a one-time appearance, but maybe it has appeared since then. Essentially, it was, again, involving the Fantastic Four when Spider-Man rips his attire and he stops by the Fantastic Four building, but they don't have any replacement suits for him aside from the regular Fantastic Four costume. So he puts that on, but then he realizes, wait a minute, you guys don't use any masks. So in order to improvise, he just puts a bag on his head with the drawing of a face, basically. Even though I think in the comics he didn't actually draw the eyes on there. I think it was just basically punched out holes for the eyes. So either way, it's a ridiculous suit, but in my opinion, it's very, very cool to see. And plus, I'm just happy to see that the Fantastic Four finally now welcome back into the Marvel Universe, and we can see the appearances of the Fantastic Four already in video games, and I'm only excited to see what else might we see. Could we possibly see a Fantastic Four game? That would be very cool. Sign me up for that. All right, let's transition to the next suit. We got to pick up the pace here. So next up, we have the Webb Suit, which is known as the Sam Raimi suit. So this is the Spider-Man suit that we saw in the Sam Raimi trilogy of films, the first Spider-Man movies that we had ever seen. So obviously, a lot of people are very nostalgic for this suit, including myself. I think it's a terrific suit. It's definitely not my favorite, but I think it does look really cool. And I think it was always kind of interesting how they used the webs to actually be on the suit. Like they could feel like they were 3-dimensional on top of the actual outfit. So I always thought that that was kind of a cool idea for this particular Spidey. Again, for many people, this is their absolute favorite suit. Let me know down in the comment section below what is your favorite suit, because I'm actually genuinely curious. I'm very curious to hear which of the 40 suits is your favorite, because there's so many to choose from, and for many, many, many people that I know personally, this is the one that they choose as their absolute must have, and that's why they were happy that they did add it, and more importantly, it is their favorite suit. Let's transition to the next one, which is Into the Spider-Verse suit. I am not going to lie to you guys. I wasn't a fan of this suit going into actually like seeing it in the game. I was like, okay, I'm not a big fan. I watched Into the Spider-Verse. Yes, I'm well aware of the fact that I am biased now based on that movie, but I love the suit now. It's just the movie, like seeing that suit in the movie and the art style and just how much I enjoyed that film made me fall in love with the suit in the game. So I've been playing and using this suit way more often now. I really, really am happy that it is included in the game, and it is a terrific design, very cool art style, and now all the proportionality and everything makes sense because I saw it in the movie, so it doesn't look as awkward. Like, you can see here, it's like, what's going on with his right knee? Like, what is happening? You know, like when I was initially looking, I was like, this just doesn't look right. And then you see it in the movie, you're like, ah, okay, now I get it, you know? So now it all makes sense. Okay, so let's continue. Next up, we have the Cyborg Spider-Man Suit. So this is a very cool and unique design. One of the more unique outfits in the entire game. I would say probably in the top 3 overall. Very cool. It's kind of like if Cable and Spider-Man had like a crossover as a character, this is what you would get. And hey, that sounds like a pretty cool idea. So sign me up for that. All right, let's transition to the next one. This is the Scarlet Spider 2 suit. We will see the other iteration of this particular outfit as well. I actually really like this design. I like it better than the initial Scarlet Spider. I think it's more unique and different, and therefore Scarlet Spider kind of stands out more, in my opinion, looking like this. It's a much more unique outfit. I really like the red eyes as well. Kind of gives it a bit more of a menacing look. So I'm a big fan of this particular design. All right, from there we transition to the Spider Armor Mark 1, which I have a soft spot in my heart for just because I used to play this game called HeroClix. I don't even know if it exists yet, or still, I should say. Probably, I don't know. Maybe it exists still. It's like a miniature miniature like dice rolling strategy game sort of thing. It's a lot of fun, or was a lot of fun. Again, I don't know if it exists still, but in my very first pack that I opened, I got this particular version of Spider-Man. So I've always, for some reason, just had that in my memory, and it's like it's some sort of a nostalgia for this particular suit. So there you go. Fun story there, I guess. Next up, we have the Iron Spider Armor. Don't get me wrong. I love the Infinity War Spider Armor. I think it's sick, but I am a much bigger fan of this design. If I had to choose between this or the film design, I would go with this one. And no, I'm not one of those like annoying people who's like, oh, he's such a comic book purist. All he likes is the comic book versions. That is not the case. I am definitely oftentimes leaning more towards the comic book designs of suits, but don't get me wrong. There's a lot of circumstances and a lot of situations where I like the comic book designs of characters better than I do their counterparts in the comic books. So did I say comic books or movies? I meant to say movies versus comic books. So there you go. Either way, this is a sick suit. Let's move right along. Next up, we have Spider Clan suit, which is really cool because, again, it's got that very cool cel-shaded design. I almost, like I've said before, I think I want to see a full game done up in this style. I think that would be really cool. It doesn't have to be a big budget game, maybe just like a platformer even. I'd love to see something with this particular design. I think that'd be really neat. From there, we transition to Aaron Aikman's suit, which is really cool. I feel like it's very kind of anime inspired. At least that's the vibe that I get from it, with the big boots and everything like that. I like the design. I think that it's unique. And again, it stands out compared to most of the other suits in the game, which to me, that's what makes a suit cool, is something that makes it stand out compared to the others and therefore makes it unique. Next up, we have Spider UK. Very awesome to see a little bit of that British representation. Crumpets and biscuits. Oh, okay, that was terrible. Let's move on. Pretend like I never said any of that. Resilient suit is our next suit that we take a look at. I'm not sure how I feel about this suit. I've gone back and forth with this one. I didn't like it, then I liked it, then I was like, I'm not sure if I really like it anymore, just because there's so many other designs in the game that I like better. I don't think it's a bad design, I just don't think it's one of my personal favorites any longer. I still could see some of the cool elements in it. Like, I almost wonder, like, if they didn't give it that sheen, I would love to see what it looks like without that, like, metallic kind of sheen. If it was more like a cloth-based attire, I think it would look a little bit better. But hey, maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have the Dark Suit, which I guess, by the way, we've run through all the DLCs. That was all the DLC suits from up here all the way down here. That was the 12 DLC suits in the game. So now, let me move right along to the suits that you get through the main game. So we have the Dark Suit itself here, which looks sweet. This is a suit that you earned from completing the Black Cat missions. I really like this one. It almost reminds me a little bit of the Far From Home, the new Black Suit. I think it looks kind of similar to it. It's very stealth based. It's the closest thing we have to a symbiote suit in the game. So very cool to see that. Then we have the Anti-Oak or Ox suit, which again, very symbiote sort of looking, but again, this one looks a lot more like an armor-plated suit, so it looks more like armor instead of a suit, I would say. But either way, it's a very cool design, and it makes a pretty important appearance in the game. It's the only suit in the game that you have to use when you're going through the story. Like, you can't change in the Arc battle to a different outfit, which I think is kind of cool because, again, it makes it a very unique suit as compared to all the other ones in the game. It has kind of like a special place in the story, and it does look pretty legit, not gonna lie. Okay, so we move right along from there to the Esu suit. This one's a pretty generic one, kind of simple, not too much to it. I think it's a cool idea of giving us almost like a Peter Parker in a mask look. Kind of goes along with like the Bombastic Bag Man sort of outfit, so I don't mind it at all. From there, we transition to my absolute favorite suit in the game, which is the Spider-Man 2099 white suit. I just think it looks so ridiculously cool. The red, the white, the black, or gray, if you want to call it that, just looks exceptionally awesome. I love the gauntlets on the arms, maybe because I really like Batman, and it kind of reminds me of Batman's gauntlets, you know? It looks so sick. This outfit is just absolutely incredibly epic. So I'm a big fan of this particular design, but I'm curious to hear what you guys select. Next up, we have the vintage comic book suit, which looks pretty cool. I like it. I think it's a pretty neat outfit as well. Then we have the Last Stand suit, which is all right. Again, it's one of those suits that I really liked at first, and then as I played with other suits and used different suits and other suits became available in the game, it kind of kept dropping down my list because ultimately I looked at it and I'm like, okay, it's basically the like a regular Spidey mask and then just a biker jacket with Spider-Man on, which sounds cool, but compared to some of the other suits in the game, it's sort of lame. There's the Undie Suit. Yay! Yeah, if you know me, you know I'm not a big fan of that suit because I was so upset when I did all the challenges and that's what they rewarded me with. It was like, are you serious? I was really hoping it would be the symbiote suit. I'm not going to lie. So maybe it's my fault for setting expectations too high. Next up, we have the homemade suit from the films. So this is from Spider-Man Homecoming, of course. Looks cool. They did a good job with it, but I'm far more like the Far From Home like main suit, which we'll look at in a moment. This, along with the Cyborg Spider-Man, is definitely like the contenders for the weirdest suits in the game. This is Spirit Spider. Again, obviously it's a flaming skull, so kind of difficult to beat that. But the Cyborg Spider-Man is pretty cool too. He's got a cybernetic eye, arm, so he looks pretty epic as well. So I'd say those are probably the two weirdest suits in the game. Next up, we have the Mark IV suit. I'm not a big fan of this design. I don't know. I know a lot of people like the glowing green effect on the eyes and on the torso, but for me, just not particularly fond of it. I will say, though, oddly enough, this suit photographs really well in the photo mode of the game. So for whatever reason, maybe it's that extra sheen to the suit plus the glow on the chest and the eyes that really makes it stand out more. But for some odd reason, in photo mode, it absolutely looks spectacular. So there you go. Next up, we have the Velocity suit. Also photographs really well, by the way. Very cool outfit, especially because if you're a fan of the Flash, it almost feels like a Spider-Man kind of Flash-inspired suit. Just even on the eyes, the way they almost have like little wind visors so that he'd be able to like move faster than usual. The Blitz ability obviously makes it also very biased for me because it's like Blitzwinger, Blitz, ba-dum-pum-pum-pum, you know, dad jokes. Okay, next up we have Iron Spider from Infinity War, which of course is most or many people's favorite suit in the entire game because it's the most new Spidey suit that we have seen in the movies. So a lot of people really like this particular suit quite a bit. So without a doubt, one of the cooler suits in the game. But for me, I got to go with the comic book version of Iron Spider. Next up, another one of my personal favorites, and this is the Spider-Man 2099. Yeah, I guess I'm just biased towards Spider-Man 2099. This is the black suit. Still don't know why it's called the black suit, even though it's, in my opinion, that's blue, but I don't know. Maybe I'm colorblind, which would be a pretty interesting discovery to make right now. But either way, this is the 2099 suit, looking quite stylish and very cool indeed. From there, we transition to our last 15 characters. We kick things off with Spider-Punk, who is very cool, and again, one of the more unique designs in the game, because again, he's got a studded mohawk. That's very cool. Then you got the wrestler suit. This one's a pretty generic outfit. There's really not much to say about it, but again, it fits properly into the Spider-Man mythos, so I don't mind it being there. I think it makes sense for it to be in the game, and I think that it's it's like historically important to have that suit in the game because it's part of Spidey's storyline. Then we have the Fear Itself suit. I've still never read the Fear Itself like comic book event, so I don't know if this is exactly the suit that he wears in that event or why. More importantly, I'm not a fan of it though. I don't really like the grid like patterning and design. I think that it's kind of like a weird mix between futuristic, but then also you have like a gauntlet kind of chainmail leggings and arms and gauntlets. So I don't really know what they were going for here. Personally, for me, not a big fan of that design. I do like this design, the stealth big time suit. It does look pretty stylish indeed, even though there's always kind of an association if you've ever collected Marvel Legends or Marvel toys and you bought the Marvel Legends big time Spider-Man, then you probably don't really like this suit as much anymore because that figure was terrible. Okay, from there, we transition to Spider Armor Mark III, one of my personal faves in the game as well. I really like this one. By the way, I know what you're saying right now. Hey, Blitz, you've already named a bunch of your personal favorites. Yes, I have. In fact, you can see a top 10 video that I've done for my favorite 10 suits in the game. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. All right, we are in the final 10 suits that we need to look through. We have the electrically insulated suit. Again, I like it because it's unique, it's different. You could totally see why he would wear this suit in a circumstance where maybe he's fighting Electro or Shocker. That particular outfit would make sense for him to don. Then we have the negative suit, which of course is for Mr. Negative. I think it's a cool idea, and I think visually it's really unique because you can see how the shadows, even here, kind of like bounce off the suit. You can see how it like changes color, especially if we go out into the game. It just looks really bizarre and weird in game. The way the light hits the suit, it's very, very cool and very unique compared to most of the other suits in the game. So for that, I do have to give it at least a tip of the cap, so to speak. Then we have the Stark suit. I love the design for this outfit, and I still will say that it might be the best looking suit as far as just like literally it looks like the character model from the movie. And maybe it is, but it just looks so good. I don't know what the heck they did as far as like texturing that outfit or something, but it just looks so good and accurate compared to the one that we saw in the movie. And it comes with a pretty cool Spider Bro power. Speaking of powers, this one comes along with the arms race power. This is the Secret War suit. I think it's all right. By the way, this is the new Secret War suit, I'm pretty sure. This is not the old school one, is it? I think it looks pretty cool. It always reminded me a little bit of Blue Beetle because of the giant blue kind of like tentacle arm spider on the back. So that's kind of the association that I've always had with this particular outfit. Then we have the Spider Armor Mark II, which is cool. I always really like the helmet design on this suit. I think it looks neat, but I actually think that this suit looked better in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game, which again, I've also made a comparison video between some of the suits from this game to that game. So you can check that video out on the channel as well. I think it's just Spider-Man PS4 versus Amazing Spider-Man 2. All right, and our final 5 suits. We're going to kick things off with the Scarlet Spider first variation. Again, I know a lot of people have grown fond now of this suit. I know that back in the day, people despised Scarlet Spider, so I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that they have grown to like this character more and more over time. So I think that that's kind of cool. I've just never particularly cared for the whole like hoodie look. I think he would have looked better if he just had like a regular suit, so to speak. Without the hoodie, I think he would look a little bit cooler. That's probably why I like the Scarlet Spider Mark II a bit better. Another one of my personal favorites, especially if you watched Into the Spider-Verse, the movie, you would absolutely love this design. This is Noir Suit Spider-Man, looking absolutely stylish. And then we move right along to the classic suit that is ripped up. Or sorry, no, this is the repaired one, I should say. So this is the suit that you actually start the game with, right as you get into the game. This is what you begin with. Has probably one of, if not the best ability in the entire game with Web Blossom. And then you have the classic suit damaged. So right as you get into your first battle with all the goons from Kingpin and Kingpin himself, right at the very beginning of the game, you end up tearing up your suit, and then Spidey goes on to repair the suit, and we arrive at this, which is, of course, the advanced suit that was introduced specifically for Spider-Man Ps4. So with that in mind, ladies and gents, there you go. Those are 40 suits. Yes, you heard me correctly. 40 suits that are included in the Spider-Man Ps4 video game. Let me know which is your personal favorite. Heck, maybe you're having a tough time deciding on one, just like I did, and I had to select 10 or make a top 10. I can definitely tell you which one is my favorite because I have already this one right here. But I'd love to hear your opinions and thoughts down in the comment section below. Maybe leave like your top 3. And you know what? It'd be kind of interesting. Leave your least favorite suit as well, because I'm curious about that. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys here next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye, everyone.